we have to be even more speaking truth to the listeners though, right, babe? We had a fight just before this episode was recording. And again, because I want this to be so honest and potent for you guys, we're not perfect. Like, I lose my temper very easily. I'm getting much better at it. And while Jordan will say, babe, I would like to speak some truth, there's been times where I'm like, this has really bitten me in the ass when this whole speaking truth thing has happened, because I've been so good to speak my truth, but sometimes there's been moments where Jordan speaks his truth. And how often have I reacted like a little child? And then I have to go away, come back, calm down. And it takes some practice. Sometimes still Jordan and I have moments where it does take us, a little bit like, oh, shit, I've done something here. And we've gotten, as we've been together now for 10 months, we've gotten better to, in the moment, be able to sort of like, whether it's about breathing and sit with the emotions and then come forward and respond in a resourceful manner, because I know very much like before this recording happens, I can have my little tantrum, and I'm sure you can have so many stories to share with these guys, but it's really important that you see your relationship as a learning process, but also a healing process that you get to traverse together when you both commit to doing it. Right, Jordan?
Yeah. And it ends up being fun. Like, I just laugh at Tam every time she has a little Tam attack now. And she looks at me like trying to be all serious, and then I'm just like smiling. She's like, "What are you smiling about?"
And you know what? That has made me want to work on myself even more, because in my past relationships, if I ever brought something forward to my past exes, they would always turn up into a huge argument. So I would avoid speaking truth. I would avoid starting conflict or a fight, because it wasn't, wanting to put them, in pain or put them down or, speak badly or of them. One of the biggest things I've learned from all my mentors is the more we can speak truth from a compassionate place, and hold them to a standard. Like, Jordan will pull me up and he goes, I do not like the way you talk to me like that. And I've had to, really look into the mirror and go, this is also a reflection of myself, and how I'm speaking to him is how I'm really feeling of myself. So, it may be hard for you guys to navigate this through, already you guys being in a new, maybe in a longer relationship, but I just ask you guys to challenge yourself in a way of, becoming the best version of yourselves, not just for yourself, but for your partner, and just start to show him rather than tell him, and just start to navigate through that. Because again, as I said, from previous relationships, I was always very fearful for speaking truth, because one, Jordan now reacts and laughs at me whenever I have my stroppy moods. Whereas in the past, my past relationships, they would really bring me down, get angry at me, yell at me. So I've always been at that sort of reactive state, because I kind of would expect that from Jordan, whereas now he just laughs. So it's also brought my energy down into a really calming sensation when we do fight now, rather than me always being on the verge of being on defensive mode, because I was resenting all my past exes in the past and pushing it onto Jordan. And you've done the same too, right, babe?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Can't think of any examples right now, but
Have to just say, I'm sure you guys can also tell, Jordan and I, we balance each other out. Like, I'm obviously very out there, big spoken, and Jordan's quite calm in his nature. And he's never done a podcast before, so I know this.
never.
And I haven't
I was
given
very
him. Yeah,
I was very nervous when I came on.
it means a lot to me, my love.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a really good time now to also just kind of touch a little bit on how important it is to work on your relationship with your partner, because it also reflects on the relationship with self and business. So Jordan, you know this as well, and we've had to navigate how this works best for us. Whenever I'm stressed, I know I take it out on you. And if I'm stressed in the business, it's almost like the impact of me being not focused on you will impact the business too. And I'll give a really good example, right, guys? Naturally, now I'm really focusing on balancing between masculine and feminine energy in business and in my relationship with Jordan, because sometimes Jordan and I, he'll go off to work, I'll be at home, I'm in my flow of work, but I'm in my masculine flow. He comes home And then, he wants me to be there and playful and in my feminine, making him dinner. And I will just be like, no, I'm just going to work. I've got to work. You can do your own dinner. And that caused a lot of friction with us, right, babe? And then that made you bring into, well, that also switched more of your energy systems, where that made you also feel more tapping into your feminine, because I was so far in my masculine. So for anyone listening right now, it's really important to navigate, these energy systems for your relationships and in business, because it all impacts it all, right? You've noticed now that, haven't you, babe? Whenever now I'm working and you come home, what allows me to be present for Jordan in our relationship once he's home is me focusing on bringing more feminine energy in our relationship, which then dictates the energy I brought into my business. So right now, Jordan really wants me to make dinner for him at night. I'm not saying I do this every single night, and sometimes he does help me, and Mum's been making us food as well. But when I support him in that way, it also supports him to be more masculine towards me, because I'm being in my feminine. So there's been moments where I'm in my masculine, it's made Jordan become more in his feminine. And so then we've got these fights happening. He goes, I want you to be more in your feminine. And I'm saying to him, I want you to be more in your masculine. And we're bouncing off each other, like fighting. And then, my business is being affected by it. And it's because our friction in our relationship is not in balance. So if this relates to any of you guys listening, and babe, I'm obviously right now probably in my feminine right now because I'm on my podcast. I would want you guys to see where in your business you can see the masculine energy has affected your relationship with your partner. And then the following question as well, how can you start to balance the energy system so that you have more of the balance in both? So very much like what I do now with Jordan, we go to the gym together, I cook him dinner. And then what's some of the masculine stuff you do for me, babe? Because there's been some things that you've been doing a lot for me that I've said, oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah. So Tam's all about like, it depends on
Depends what
what
time.
your view of it depends on what your view of masculinity is as well,
Yes.
right? So my view of masculinity is probably a little bit different to, say, someone listening to this podcast as well. But Tam's view of masculinity is someone who, like, takes care of, you know, the bills, or if she needs some help with organizing things, that she wants me to take the lead on the organizing, which is a definite masculine trait, to take the lead. I have a tendency to be very aloof. So I am just like, go with the flow. Like, I don't need to organize anything. Someone else will organize it for me. Um, so it's been, for me, a bit of a learning curve, and I've had to, like, take the initiative to go, okay, like, I need to do this. I need to organize that. I need to look after Tam. Like, okay, she hasn't got the tires done on her car. She doesn't know about that. I'll go get her car sorted. Like organising flights or something like that. What was the other thing I did recently? Can't remember.
Setting up my podcast, remember? I was like having a
Yeah.
meltdown because I was like, I don't know how to put together the technology behind this.
Oh yeah, the one that you did with Kayla too. That was hilarious.
I'm sorry about
So uh, the, I'll give everyone a really quick story on that one. So she has this mic that's like clips onto your shirt, and it's got like the 3.5 millimeter jack, and she puts it in, and they record. Oh, no sound. And I was like, no, babe, I think it goes into it. I've done this so many times. I know which one it goes in. Okay, tries again.
so
Doesn't work. I'm like, babe, it goes in this one. Look, put it in that one. Works. And she's like, huh. That's okay, fine.
didn't want to admit
So,
that I was wrong.
but yeah, definitely navigating what each other expect from each other in the feminine and masculine is very important, and having that open communication. This is the first relationship I've had where there's been that open communication in the feminine and masculine energy.